Hey there, and welcome to our session today, which is all about what Gather Round Homeschool is. So this is really for people who are brand new. If you have just started, maybe your friend shared this with you, or you've just been in the group a little bit and you have a lot of questions. You're not sure how Lifer works, you're not sure how the membership works, you're not sure where to place your child or what makes this different from everything else that's out there. So I'm going to kind of walk you through all of those things and the basics, not just of what Gather Round is, but how to actually get started. That's what I want to work on and talk about today. So if you're new, okay, you can take notes or you can just watch the replay. It's going to be okay. We've got lots of information to cover today. If you did not catch my educational philosophy video, I highly recommend you check that out because that will really help explain what is different about this curriculum from everything else that's out there and why I created it and my value system, which is the big part of what you're going to see inside this curriculum that I have created. So I encourage you to go and check that out. And today we're less going to focus on those differences and my personal values and the way I've done things and why, and we're more going to focus on the actual practical. What do you do? How do you get started? And what do all of these terms mean? So let's get into it. All right, so in a nutshell, Gather Round Homeschool is a curriculum that is designed to say gather around children. That's it. Like, you know how you say gather around, guys? That's it. That is literally the vision. That is the picture. If you could just take a snapshot and say, what is this about? That's it. We want our kids to be gathered together. We want them to be engaged, to want to listen. Just like when you read a story, that picture you had in your mind of you sitting down with your children and just reading to them and they're engaged and loving school. That's kind of what we're trying to create here at Gather Round. So it's designed to teach all of your kids together from preschool all the way up to high school. It's designed to connect your kids' subjects. It's designed to connect your students as they're learning alongside their siblings. I think that's one of the possibly one disadvantage of homeschooling is that all of our kids are working independently at their own levels, which they do need to do. And because they don't get to have a group of students around their age, they don't necessarily get to have that peer discussion and learning and bouncing ideas off of one another in the same way. So what we try to do here at Gather Round is say, okay, let's bring back the one-room schoolhouse where the older ones can disciple and mentor and train up the younger ones, where the younger ones can learn from the older ones, where there's like a learning through osmosis at everyone's ages and stages. We're not expecting everyone to pick up everything or to remember everything or to retain everything. We just want to provide a feast of education that is rich and engaging and lots of family discussions and rabbit trails. We want to give you the tools that you need to open and go and launch into whatever works for your family in a way that is cohesive so that all of your kids are sitting around the table learning about similar things. That means when you're sitting down to have dinner together as a family and you bring up what did you learn in school today, there's one theme that you can talk about together. You can say, we were talking about immigration, we were talking about Indigenous peoples, and you can have a discussion on it because everyone has covered this topic at some level or another. So we wanted to bring this cohesiveness, this family style learning into the homeschool environment that while is made for teaching at home is not necessarily made for cohesively tying the whole family unit together. So that is what Gather Round is. Now the real question why you're here is how do you use it? Where do you get started? Where should you place your kids? What does it all mean? Where do you find support? I'm going to answer all of those things today. I want to start off with where to get started. So if you go to our website, which is gatherroundhomeschool.com, and you log in, you're going to immediately see, like just at the front page is really just some featured things, maybe some new things that we've just released, okay? That's not the best place to go and see and understand exactly what this is all about. When you look under shop in the menu, there is year 1 and year 2 and soon to be year 3 units on the site. And so the very first question that we get asked is, what does that mean? I don't understand. Do I have to go by year? Is this a cycle program, something like a classical education model? No, it's not. It can be used that way, but it doesn't have to be used that way. We decided when I first started this, I promised you guys that I would do 4 years of Gather Round, releasing 1 unit every single month for a school year for 4 years. So every month we create a new unit, which is designed to be done either 4 weeks at 5 days a week, or what most of our families do, 4-day school days, okay, in a week, and then it takes you about 5 weeks to finish. So that is how it was designed. So every month you get to try and use a new unit. There's 10 new ones released from September till June, and then we take a break for summer and we release them again. We also release mini units, and we'll talk a little bit about those as well. Our mini units are designed the same amount of lessons, so you can do them alongside another unit, but they are much smaller. They're designed with very little written output so that it's not as heavy on the workload for the child, that you can actually do most of your main school through a unit and then be able to add on and supplement with a specific topic of interest or an area you have to study for your outcomes that is more targeted and focused. For example, our US history program, which is going to be a series of 6 mini units that you could do throughout the year to have a cohesive history study or focus. Or we are doing random ones, we're doing novel studies, we have some holiday thematic ones, we also have some Canadian geared ones. So we have all sorts of different mini units, and those are designed to be added on to what you're using. Now again, this is full of adaptation. Everything that we have done from every lesson you will open is designed to not just be open and go, but to be very, very easy to adapt. When we create a lesson and we say, here's all these extra resources and activities and rabbit trails and hands-on things, we try to then say, and here's all the adaptations if you don't want to do that. There's adaptations available for you. So everything in Gather Round is open and go, simple. So you could take a mini unit and you could say, you know what, no, what we're gonna do is we're gonna alternate a full unit, which is heavier course load, with a mini unit that we're gonna maybe get through in 4 weeks. And that's gonna be our little bit of a break from a heavier workload back to a full unit. Some people use them together, other people do not. Some people only do a few of their pages a day and they spread out a unit for 2 months instead of for 1 month. So there is no rule, there is no rigidity with this. This is designed to be flexible and whatever you need to make it for your family. And I want to make sure, especially if you're newer to homeschooling, that you know that not only is this like a lie that you will be told that you have to do it all, that you have to fit it all in or your kids are going to be falling behind, but it's just an unrealistic expectation. There's things that are going to come up in your life. There's things you're going to need to be flexible for. And I just want to give you permission right now. And I have a session coming up about permission, but specifically as we're talking about this, that if your kids are doing some learning every day, they're learning. And if there's days and you feel like you want to slow this down, there is just as much richness and learning that can happen in slowing down in the amount of output required and instead having discussions and rabbit trails and looking up videos and reading books from the library and going on field trips. That is all just as valuable as trying to rush through and bring on this heavy course load that we've come to expect. In some ways, I would even say it is more valuable to do those more hands-on, engaging things. It will take the pressure off you. You will have more fun. Your kids will have more fun. You will all enjoy it together. So yes, as a business owner, I would love for you to buy all my units and do 10 in a year. But the reality is, as a homeschool mom who's doing this, we have never done 10 in a year going into year 3. We do very, very slow adapted schedule because of how busy my life is, and you can do that. So mini unit, full unit, really choose a unit that you're excited about and get started. So that's just kind of explaining a little bit of the difference between the minis and the full. Now, when you're on our site, the next question that I was alluding to was the year 1, year 2, year 3. Obviously, those are, like I said, those are basically, I promised, 4 years. So the only reason those are on the site, they will eventually be removed, is because right now, for those of you who've been with us for the beginning, we announce, so in the spring of this year, we announced all the units that were coming up for year 3. And then next year in the spring, we will pre-announce all the units that are coming up for year 4. So all the years really mean is a way of tracking our growth as a company and what we've created and when. So those of you who've been with us can say these are the first year of Gather Round, the second year, the third, and the fourth. Now you could do this in a more classical model, and you could do, let's say you have an early reader or an early elementary, and you do early reader for 2 years, in two totally different themes, so they're not going to be learning the same thing, and then maybe you move them to early elementary for a couple of years. Now, after 4 years, they haven't done North American birds in 4 years, they'll be ready to cycle back to it. They probably remember very little of it, and you can now redo the cycle in older notebooks, and your kids are going to get so much more out of it. So the idea behind this is that once you have these units, it is designed to be possibly, yes, an investment, but a 4-year investment, and then something that you can reuse over and over, and that could be all that you need for your education. Gather Round Homeschool includes all of your subjects. So not only is it preschool to high school, and we'll talk a little bit more about leveling, but it is also designed to include Bible and your spelling, and there's reading incorporated, though lots of families, I always recommend, get other readers, encourage your kids to be reading more at their level because every kid's at a different level. There is spelling, I don't know if I said grammar yet or not, writing, there is social studies, there is geography, there is history, there is science, art. I mean, this includes everything except for, at this point, math. So that is the only thing that is not included at this point, so you can add your favorite math curriculum, do your Gather Round notebook, and you're done, okay? So remember, 20 lessons designed to be done for 4 or 5 weeks, depending on how you lay it out. And you're going to do a new unit potentially every month, unless you decide that you want to adapt it. There is nothing that you need for these units. When you open up the teacher's guide in the beginning, or if you go onto our website and look through the previews, which there are many preview images so you can see complete lessons and what it looks like, as well as the scope and sequence and what is covered in each unit. But if you go and look at that, you'll notice there's a book list, or maybe there's a supply list. Now, we have created this in a way that those are all optional. So we actually only created the book list because you guys were asking for it. So it's totally optional. I've never used the book list personally. I just go downstairs and find a book on our shelf, or tell my kids, go find a book to read. Like, we just don't try to necessarily match them up, or I have enough books that I probably have something on that topic downstairs. So so you don't need anything. You don't need to go get those all from the library. It would be a fortune to buy those all. We've just tried to put together some things to make it easy for you if you want a launching point. The supplies list and hands-on activities are all optional. I do very few. I actually do very little. I really do very little of the hands-on experiments and activities. We just don't have time for it. Or I say do it on your own and clean up the mess afterwards, which never has really worked for me. So maybe you'll have more success than I did. But it is all meant to be adaptable. So other than being able to have like a pencil to work in your notebook, possibly a printer if you're printing this at home, and your paper, there's not a lot that you need in order to do this. So the next thing that comes up, as I said, I know that you're probably asking in your head, what about leveling? We'll get to that. I want to explain, before we get to the levels, all the different options and things you're going to see on our site, the difference between digital and print. So you now understand the years and how it's broken up. You don't have to do them in order. You can pick and choose anywhere you want. But let's talk a little bit about the difference between digital and print. So digital, when you purchase digital, there are 2 options for our full units. For our mini units, there is only 1. Our mini units have the full family digital bundle. That is the same as what we offer for our full units. The full family digital bundle means it is a bundle for the whole family, and it is digital. So you get a PDF downloadable version of every notebook that we created. So the pre-reader, early elementary, upper elementary, middle school, high school, and yes, the teacher's guide. That is all you need. You don't need anything else. So if you purchase the mini unit in digital, you're getting everything you need, not just for today, but to use this again and again throughout the life of your family. Switch it over to the full units, and our full units, remember, the only difference is full covers all your subjects. We have 5 pages in the student notebooks that are covering a lot more language arts, grammar, spelling. It's designed to be a full unit study where everything connects, that is covering all your subjects, where our mini units are more focused on a theme and they're lighter in the course load or the workload for your student, okay? So our full units, we have the full family bundle, and that includes all the notebooks, including the teacher's guide, as well as a single student bundle. Now, the single student digital package is just the teacher's guide and one level of your choice. So you'll notice that's quite a bit cheaper. If you have only one child doing this, you can probably do that, and it will make it a very affordable program for you. However, if you have 2+ students, it makes the most sense for you to get the full family bundle, not just because it is actually really not much difference in price, but it also is more valuable to you because you could reuse that over and over for your younger students rather than having to limit them to one level. It also means a lot of times you'll start this and you'll feel like, okay, I thought my child was this, but actually they're this. And if you just get the single student, you have no options of being able to move around and adapt and use it at different levels. Even with a single student, keep in mind that in 4 years, if you want to repeat this and get the full value and do it in an older notebook, you're not necessarily going to have that option if you only got the single. So you will actually end up going back and having to repurchase it in a higher level for your child, and you're really limiting them to that level. Whereas it's really nice when you get the full bundle because you're able to pick and choose, or even say, let's pull this one page from here and let's do the notebooking from a younger one, and you can create your own notebook for your children based on their abilities. So those are the digital options. Digital is licensed only for your individual, personal, immediate family. That means not for cousins, not for grandparents, not for uncles and aunts, not for friends. It cannot be shared or used in any way outside of your own immediate family. You cannot go and teach it in a large group to people. You cannot sell the files. You cannot share the files. You cannot send it over to somebody else's house or offer, you know what, send me the files and I'll print them for you and mail it to you. You can't do any of that. It is only licensed at your IP address at your home for you to use personally in that way. So that is how that is licensed, okay? Now you can reprint it for your own children, but you can't use it in any other capacity than that. Print is a little bit different. You'll notice print is a little more expensive. A lot of people have questions about that. If you, even with a home use printer, if you have a home use printer and you decide you want a little bit nicer paper and you want to bind it and you want to, not only will you spend a lot more time, but you also sometimes, I've actually seen it sometimes when people have posted what they've spent, it's a lot more than what we're able to do it for. So keep in mind the cost of your ink. These are beautiful watercolor, full color things. Most of our families do not want to use black and white because they are so rich and beautiful. They don't want to use the really thin paper because their kids are drawing or watercolor or whatever, and it's showing through and bleeding onto the other side. We do all of our printing on 32 pound, that's 80 pound text paper. It's buttery, it's smooth, you can literally watercolor on it. It holds it very, very well. It's made our books incredibly thick. All of our paper providers are shocked and they have to bring in special stock for us because no printing company uses this kind of paper. It's like magazine paper, like it is thick, and I'm not talking the thin magazines, I'm like the cardstock ones, okay? Then we use really thick glossy cardstock covers to help protect the books, and we coil bind them. We coil bind on the left for the teacher's guide as well as our mini units, and sometimes we coil bind on the top for our student notebooks so that for left-handed or right-handed students, they're not having to kind of work around the coil. So that's the way that we do that. It's very, very high-end, very high quality. We do not have little printers. We have massive printing presses that are designed to do the most beautiful, rich quality that you've probably seen. Like, it is really, really beautiful. And we ship it out very carefully to you and it comes to you. So that's print. Now, the thing with print that we have done is we've actually specially put a stamp inside the front cover that says that it is printed at the Gather Round Homeschool warehouse. And what that means is that we basically are licensing it for you guys. You can use it as a family, but you can also sell it when you're done with it. So you can't photocopy it and share that with somebody else, but you could sell your original files if you wanted to somebody else because it's a consumable physical product that can be sold. We can't do that with digital. We've had people using digital where they've sold it multiple times and are having a nice little business off of selling our files. That's not legal, but it is allowed with our print that when you're done. So, I mean, a lot of people are using the student notebooks. Those are consumable. You can save the teacher's guide and now you just need the student notebooks afterwards, which will save you money if you wanted to redo it again. Or when you're done, if you decide you're not going to do that unit again, you do have the option of selling or trading with other families that are using these units. So there's lots of options available to you. That's the difference between print and digital. We offer, especially during our back to school special, which is only once a year, we usually offer some really big incentives if you order the year in print to basically compensate for shipping and some of the price difference, to make it a little bit more attractive and easier for you guys. And really in the long run, you're getting this box with everything that you possibly need. So yeah, that's print versus digital, okay? You're tracking with me? It's a lot of stuff to cover. All right, so when you're on our website and you are looking through the options, the next real question is how to place your child. So that's a big one. And the reality is that I have put in the front of all of the books, I have put a recommendation for you as far as a general age range that I was thinking of when I vision casted or wrote this unit or was editing this unit. So I did not write, by the way, all of the units, okay? I have written definitely not all the units. I have writers that I hire. Some of the units I've written, some of them I haven't. Some of them I've been more involved in, some of them a little bit less involved. So you'll see that throughout, but for those of you out there, I've definitely heard that we have a lot of naysayers, and that's one of the things I've heard is that be wary when you're following a company that's only one person's voice. It's not just my voice. We have many different people that are a part of this company, over 50 people that are a part of this company, so this is not a one-person show. Okay, so what levels? So when you are looking, okay, so first of all, look at the age of your child. So if they are, first of all, if they're not reading yet, then you're going to want to pretty much start at letters and numbers or ready to read. The only reason you'd want to use pre-reader together with one of the units is if you have older students that are using those units. If your oldest child is 5 or 6, they're not reading yet, do not start with a full unit. I mean, you can, but I wouldn't recommend it because it's going to be definitely rich and you may be pushing them a little bit. I can't cover all of the phonics that's needed for pre-reader level. I have 2 full year programs for pre-reader level. There's no way to know where every child is at or what they need. So our pre-reader is generally an activity book, things that tie in with our older students. It's not going to cover everything you need for your phonics and your math. Instead, we went and created letters and numbers and ready to read, which is going to cover everything you need, not just for phonics and math, but science at that level. It doesn't tie into the other units, but it's going to cover their science. They have to learn things that the older kids don't, like living versus non-living. What's the roles and responsibilities? What are my roles and responsibilities? What does my family look like? That's all in there. Basic writing skills. What's your address? I don't need to teach that in middle and high school, but I definitely want to make sure we cover that in preschool or kindergarten. So basically our letters and numbers program is divided up in this way. I went through the alphabet 2 times in letters and numbers. So 1 letter every week. The first book is 13 weeks. The second book is 13 weeks. So 2 books, okay, letters and numbers 1 and 2 goes through the alphabet once. And then letters and numbers 3 and 4 goes through the alphabet again. If you're starting this with a younger child who's just beginning, they don't know their letters, they don't know their sounds, start at the very beginning with letters and numbers 1. If your child knows their letters and sounds, but they're kind of forgetting them, they're mixing them up, they're not ready for reading, there's still some mastery needed, or they don't have the fine motor skills to write their letters and numbers yet or understand the concept of that, then start with letters and numbers 3 and 4. It's going to go through the alphabet again, but this time it's going to expect them to write, have the fine motor skills to write the A and write the B and write the C and really start to master the phonetic sound that makes, not just at the beginning of a word, but in the middle of a word and at the end of the word, so that they're really starting to build the pre-reading skills they need to get ready for ready to read. You don't want to use ready to read until your child is ready to read. If they're not there yet, go back to letters and numbers 3 and 4. If they really need a lot of work and you just want to have fun with it, go back to letters and numbers 1. That's where to place your child from that point. Let's move forward. In a ready to read program, so let's say your child they're starting to read 3-letter words. Ready to read, we divide it up by concept. So the first 2 books focus on 3-letter words. These do build on one another. So generally, I recommend starting at book 1, though I do see some families that are like, they're getting close to being out of 3-letter words. They've done a lot of them. I think they're mostly through that, but I'm not sure if they've covered all these math topics. They might need some reinforcement. They might start at book 2. Book 3 goes into basically adding a silent E at the end and making the vowel say its name and starting to put together CVCV words, consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel. So that vowel on the end and in the middle of the word that changes the sound. So they're learning that these letters don't just have one sound. So if your child already has mastered 3-letter words, but they don't know that yet and haven't mastered it, they're ready for Ready to Read 3. Ready to Read 4 goes into compound words and different blends like the EA blend. So it's really kind of that next step towards proficiency in reading. Now remember, not only is that covering reading, it's covering everything you need for math, everything you need. It really takes children through not just preschool and kindergarten, but preschool, kindergarten, and grade 1 is our letters and numbers and Ready to Read program. So we named them differently so you can put any child in it. I have a 7-year-old working on Ready to Read right now, and she's loving it and thriving, and it's been fantastic for her. But I'm not labeling it a kindergarten program. I'm labeling it Ready to Read because she's ready to read. So that's where you're going to place your kids if they are not proficient readers yet. You can't expect your kids to write and do a lot of work if they're not reading. Now, inside our levels, we start with pre-reader, which is essentially, like I said, there's definitely subjects they're going to be doing social studies and history, but 1 page a day to go alongside what their siblings are doing, as well as a coloring page or activity page. So it's generally much lighter. It is designed to give them something to do to tie into the unit for their older siblings. So that's our pre-reader. And you'll notice that when you're purchasing print, we actually have pre-reader as a cheaper book, and that is why. The next level is early reader. Early reader is designed on the site, I say, for a 6 to 8-year-old. Generally though, when you're looking at leveling, you're just thinking about the fact of, are they a proficient reader or writer? Do they really struggle? Are they really reluctant? If writing is overwhelming for your child, to sit down and write a sentence is overwhelming for your child, then put them in early reader, no matter how old they are, because early reader is designed with very little written output, lots of matching, lots of circling, lots of cutting and pasting, lots of just discussion or doing a craft, and then it has just writing when it's time for them to do writing, just writing when they're doing their spelling, or just writing when they're working on a writing project. So we really try to keep it focused so that they don't get overwhelmed. Early elementary and early reader have the same teaching for the most part. Other than maybe grammar pages and those kind of things, most of the actual teaching, we keep the reading the same. And that is designed so that when you as the parent are done reading the teacher's guide, you could sit down with your kids and read the teaching, and it will actually apply usually up to upper elementary. It's the same teaching. So you can read it once, but all your kids are doing different activities based on that. Your early reader might have discussion, coloring, drawing a picture, matching, circling, cutting or pasting. Your early elementary might have those things combined with some writing, where we give them a word box or a word bank where they can see the word, but we're expecting them to begin to fill in the blank or to write one interesting thing they learned. So it starts to have a little bit more writing, but still generally gentle. Because the teaching is generally the same, you're not looking at leveling as far as how smart your kid is. You're looking at leveling as far as where are they really at in their writing skills and their reading skills, and what are they overwhelmed with. Upper elementary, the only difference is sometimes we cut the teaching a little bit. We condense it, we make it a little bit simpler, easier to read, because we are now beginning to hope that some of those 10 to 12-year-olds are reading on their own. So they could potentially read their lesson and then be able to do the page on their own. They're expected now to write a full sentence response in what they're reading, or multiple sentences response to what they're reading. So it has a little bit more writing expectation. Everything gets different when you're in middle school. Middle school is designed for 12 to 14-year-olds. even 15-year-olds. It's different in the content. There's a lot more research involved, and you'll see that definitely year 1, there was a lot of research involved for middle school. Year 2, we definitely did some, and then we started to taper back on the amount of research. Towards the end of year 2, we actually pulled it quite a ways back, and we ended up just saying, let's do research once a day, no more than once a day for these kids, and giving them sometimes search words or key terms that they could use to make that research a little bit easier for them, and making sure we were guiding them. So we're really trying to make it something that isn't a needle in a haystack or difficult to find. But we are wanting our kids at that age to take a little bit of ownership of their education. So I'm not giving them everything. And we're starting to expect them to take what they've learned and now write a response, paragraph form response now, but much deeper, and thinking about how this applies to them and what they think about it. So we're expecting a lot more critical thinking when it comes to how this is going, as well as them beginning to take some ownership of their lessons. It's designed to be done generally independently in their student notebooks. Next up, we have high school. In high school, we go into essay responses. We're expecting them to do definitely research. And I think, as much as I know research can be a hot topic sometimes because, you know, your kids are maybe going on the internet, or what books do you use, or where do you go for that? I really think that to prepare our kids for university or for college, they have to know how to find information and to be able to learn on their own and be able to motivate themselves and then think critically about what they're learning about. And they need to learn how to take that information that they've found, that they've researched, and they need to be able to explain that to somebody in a way that makes sense. So they have to have the input, and then they have to have that output, and they need to be able to communicate their thoughts and ideas and expressions. So that's really the focus of high school, is preparing our kids for college and university in a way that is not like most curriculum. It is not rote, it is not read and fill in the blank. It is a lot deeper and richer than that. So in middle and high, we go into hot topic stuff. We're not afraid of anything, and we generally will just throw it out there and say, talk about it with your family, have a discussion around the table, do some more research. What do you think? Trying not to guide your kids into any sort of an opinion, but actually think for yourself. Was this fair? Was this not fair? Was this right? Was this wrong? And then go look up. We tie as much as we can back to the Bible. Go look this up in the Bible, and what would God say about this? So really beginning to have them think a lot more critically about that. So hopefully that gave you a better idea of where to place your child as far as levels. As far as units, choose anything that your children are interested in or that you are interested in, and go for it. There's no rhyme nor reason. There's no specific place that you need to start except for the letters and numbers and ready to read program. So why invest in Gather Round Homeschool? It's generally a new company. I've seen a lot of people that make the decision not to use us or to watch. They've been sitting and watching and waiting for a while because they know that we're growing and we're learning, and they've been waiting to see, is this legit? Is this actually something that is real? I mean, who's doing this? What does this look like? What are your credentials? I mean, these are all the kinds of questions that we get asked, and they're fair questions. When we're talking about the education of your children, you have a right to know, and you should be concerned about where this is going and whether this is something you want to invest your money in, because it's a long-term investment. So I understand that. I take that seriously. I don't take it lightly at all. And if you have been waiting on the sidelines and maybe this is your time for it, hopefully this has helped explain a little bit about it. But really, as far as that why invest in it, I have seen, and some of you who have used this, and if you go back and look at some of our previews of year 1 or year 2, you will see this. There has been so much growth and change in this company from when we first started. I started writing North American birds, just this flurry. I mean, I was even looking back at Asia and comparing the word count of our Asia lessons, which were about 1,000 words, to something like botany, which was like 2,400 words. I mean, we definitely, now I'm trying to scale it back a bit because I'm like, whoa, this is a lot of reading for my kids. So we're learning and we're growing as a company. And the cool thing about this is that I don't think there's any other company that is literally truly creating it as they go based on feedback. They create it, they spend all their time, they put all their investment into it, and then they launch it and they sell it to you. See, we're actually creating these so fast, so quickly, once a month. I am writing the next unit right now. So we are writing it month to month. Sometimes we're a couple days late because we're not quite done writing it or designing it. I mean, we are literally creating these. Sometimes you guys have posted ideas in the group and I've been like, ooh, I like that. Let's work that in quickly, even though we've done 10 lessons. My team loves it when I do that, by the way. So you get to be a part of, from the ground up, creating not just this curriculum, but your curriculum, the curriculum that's going to work for your family. I had such different and less and smaller vision when I started this of what education was or what I wanted it to encompass or how could I make it hands-on and engaging and a living book, but also make it open and go and easy and adaptable. There was just so many things that different people needed that I wasn't sure how to put that into practice, and we've learned as we've gone. And so we've made almost every unit, I would say every unit has some new feature that we've thrown in there that it's like, this unit was the first time we did this. We tried this new scope and sequence. We tried a new table of contents. We added some more front matter. We put some more back matter. We did a lot more cutting and pasting for your younger kids. We did interactive notebooking for your kids. I mean, we've tried to make every unit new and exciting, not just in the content, but in our way that we are presenting education. So that really does mean that no matter what unit you do, you're probably going to be surprised and you're probably going to see growth and change, and it will keep you a little bit on your toes and probably a little bit interested in the lessons. But when you are investing in Gather Round Homeschool, when you post your questions and you post your feedback and you email us and let us know concerns you have or things you would love to see implemented, you are actually a part of the ground level of creating a curriculum that will work for your family and many, many others. You guys have been amazing at sending in edits and suggestions, and you have helped improve this curriculum and make it what it is today. All right, so let's go into a little bit of terminology. I want to make sure everyone understands what Lifer is and what the membership is. So Lifer, when we refer to that, essentially when you purchase the year, either all the 10 units in a year, or you buy the year, you are somebody who, in my mind, I always used to joke, especially as a teenager, I was like, I'm a Lifer, like you're all in, okay? That's what that means. I'm in for life, like I'm all in. So it is a special exclusive sale that is on all the extra things for that year. So when somebody purchases year one in print or digital, because they're like, I want it all, I want everything you have, I'm gonna buy all those cursive notebooks anyways, and all of the recipe books, and all the mini units, I want it all. So then, because you've invested in our company in a year, we say, okay, we're gonna give you the Lifer package, which comes with all sorts of perks and incentives, like a welcome package that is actually mailed out to you, a physical welcome package with a gift, as well as Zoom calls with me or webinars with me where you actually get to hear, for example, our Lifers got to hear our year 3 units before anyone else, or have heard some of the struggles we've had, or we've prayed together, or just been able to really give feedback. I go to them and I'm like, okay, I'm thinking of changing this or adjusting this or doing that. And they're really my feedback group. So it's a special way to be even more involved in this company. So that's what Lifer is. You get all the mini units for the year, unless it's advertised otherwise, as well as the extras that go along with the unit, like the cursive writing notebook or the recipe book. So there's kind of some regular extras we do. It doesn't always encompass everything. Sometimes I do something very, very different that was very, very expensive. But a lot of our little extras like that we include, and we've thrown in usually much more than what a Lifer is expecting. So I don't think anyone has definitely felt like they've been, that there wasn't value in it. There is value. You save 20 to 30+% on all of those extra things. And so it's just a great way of getting a discount and being a part of this company in a more full and rich way. So that is what Lifer is. You have to purchase the year, and then you can purchase Lifer for the year, and it's kind of got everything then. You have everything that you could possibly need. Next up, we have the membership. So the membership, every single person has no idea. Everyone should be watching this video at this point because the membership is brand new. This is one of those new things that I just felt like I wanted to do something different. We've been asked from day one, could we do a build your own bundle option? Now, eventually, yes. Eventually, when I have all all 4 years of our units available, and I get to remove 1, 2, 3, 4. I can categorize these by topic. I could say build your own bundle. If you buy this many, you get that much off. Definitely, that will be very easy to do. What's difficult is that right now people are pre-ordering for units that haven't even been released yet, and we're sending those out on a month-by-month basis. So it's very difficult to mix and match. It's very difficult to figure out what shipping would be on that. It's just difficult. So because of that, we've never done build your own bundle. However, with the membership, I basically am willing to do that. And I've decided that I am going to set aside a staff member that is going to manage the membership and essentially be your ordering guide. They are going to be working with you every month. You'll be getting an email and it will have a form in it, and it will say, do you want to make any changes to your order? Do you want to adjust the levels? These are the extras that are being offered. Are there any extras that you would like included with your order? So anything, let's say I bring out new merch and you're like, I want that. You can throw that in with your order and get discounted shipping on it because we're already sending you out a package anyways. So you will fill out this form every month with what unit you want. It can be any unit that is published at the time you receive that, which could be your 3 at this point. And then you can pick and choose and change and adjust your bundle to be what you want it to be. So that is the membership. I am very excited about our membership. I think that it is, I think it's really unique and a different model. So you'll see the options on the website. I really tried to keep it simple. Basically, when you purchase, think of it as it's available in print only. Okay, so when you go to purchase it, you're going to say whether you want it for 1 child, 2 children, 3 children, 4 children, 5 children, 6 children, choose how many kids you have. Now you're going to say, okay, these are the different notebooks that I need or the levels that I need for those students. And generally put in the first unit you want to start with in your order. So it is a very exclusive special. We're going to test it out for a year and see how it goes. But if you've ever wanted to pick and choose, this is your chance. The last thing that I want to talk about before we go is about groups. So if you are wanting to use this in a group, basically you need to send us an email. If you are a school and you want anybody who is teaching this to kids who are not your own, if you are reading from the teacher's guide to a group of students, then you are now a hybrid school of some kind, because it's not just homeschool families. This is now one person teaching it to multiple students outside of your family. So that needs a school license. So you can contact us, schools@gatherroundhomeschool.com. Now, if you are a group, just a few families that are wanting to get together and do this in a group setting, we have more information. You might be wondering, do I need a school license? Do I not need a school license? It's going to depend on how you're set up and if you are teaching, like I said, outside your family. So you can email us at groups@gatherroundhomeschool.com and we will be able to assist you and give you some advice and ways to get started on that. But basically, we love it when you guys get together. As long as you all own those files and you have all purchased it, then go and hang out and learn and grow together, not just within your own family, but within your bigger family of friends and acquaintances, and get to know new people too. I love that. So definitely email us for more information and we can walk you through that to make sure that it's licensed properly. So if you are new to Gather Round and you have more questions that you felt like were not answered here, there is multiple different places you can get support. If you go onto our website, gatherroundhomeschool.com, Monday to Friday we have chat, and that is basically someone sitting there available to answer your questions. You can also post in our Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/Gather Round Homeschool. If you go and post on there, not only will you get a response from one of our dedicated moderators, but you are also going to get thousands of other families responding probably very, very quickly on your post with ideas and pictures and help and support. It is an amazingly supportive and positive community. So I definitely encourage you to join our Facebook community. We also have a totally free app available, and you can access that actually on your computer by going to homeschool.disciplemedia.com, and you can log in from your computer and view. There's a few limitations such as live videos that are not available in that format, but for the most part you can engage in the communities in that way. You can also access it on your phone or your iPad. You can download it onto your device. Actually, I'm not sure about an iPad. but for sure your phone. And you can download it there, and we have a community for every single unit as well as resources. So you can share different resources that have worked for your family, find different resources that people are sharing, and engage with people who are currently doing the same unit that you are. So it's a very fun community to be a part of, and it costs a lot of money, but it's free for you. And I really am passionate about facilitating that community and just conversation, not just from us to our children, but also amongst us as homeschool families and parents. On our website, if you go under the news tab, you can see any updates that I've done on Gather Round Homeschool Facebook page. We have a Facebook page as well as a group. I go live usually every week, so we post that live as well as timed points of what I talk about. So if you don't have time to watch it, you can actually catch up and know everything I covered. You can join our newsletter. If you go to Gather Round Homeschool and scroll to the bottom, you'll see a little box to join our newsletter, and that will ensure that you get the up-to-date information. Every time I do a new launch, I try to send out a newsletter and let you guys know about it. So sometimes we have a few more, but for the most part, sometimes you could go a few weeks without hearing from me. I try to keep it real and really honest and authentic, not salesy and gimmicky at all. So you'll get little pieces and snippets of our real life, but the newsletter is definitely the best place to find out information as quick as possible. The other way, there's a couple other things one thing that we just actually are implementing is a Minecraft server. So we are actually creating our own Minecraft server, and we are going to be having your kids in it. It's in creative mode, and we are going to create, I don't know, a world or an island or a place or a section. We're still learning how to use it together. We're growing all the time. So that's something that your kids can join, and they can build things with other kids in a safe, moderated environment that is related to the unit that they're working on. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun, a great way to engage your kids in a more hands-on way, as well as a techie way. And if you have older kids that you want to teach some basic coding, or you want to get involved in things, you could be inviting them, contact us to possibly be doing some moderating inside there. We want to facilitate discipleship and having our older kids disciple and mentor what it looks like to play online in a safe way and in a respectful way with others. So if you have an older student that you think would be interested in kind of interning in a role like that, then definitely email us as well. And you can do that at minecraft@gatherroundhomeschool.com. The last thing that we have coming up that you're going to want to be aware of is we actually have a magazine that we are starting. But what I really want to do with this is it's not just, encouraging articles. We're going to have a Bible reading plan in there as well. But I want it to be something that's engaging our kids. I don't know if you watched the educational philosophy video that I did, but one of my biggest passions and interests for my children, and really behind and fueling everything that I do here, is that I want it to be irresistible. And if our kids are just doing something for the sake of checking off a box or making mom and dad happy, or because they have to, it's not going to be the same pull and incentive and interest and engagement from them. You're only going to get what you're going to get out of them. So the more that we can give our kids things that are pulling them in and engaging them, and they want to take ownership of what they're learning or doing, then the more rich their education is going to be. So I feel like things like Minecraft, where they can come in and they can actually engage with other students, and they're going to want to learn, so they can say, this is what I built. Or I was even thinking they can do signs in there. They could actually do their little poetry haiku right there on a sign for everyone to see. There's a lot of ways that they could utilize that, all the way up to high school. I mean, everybody, who doesn't love Minecraft? Minecraft is crazy fun. So that is a really cool option, but also this magazine, where we are actually looking for people to submit, not people, kids. We want your kids to submit their writing projects and pictures of what they've made and what they've done, but specifically to write for us. I think that if we have a lot of reluctant writers, I have reluctant writers, if we can get them engaged and want to, because they're being published, I really feel like it is giving them the best opportunity to see reward for what they've done and to be a part of this and to see their name. I feel like it is There's something to it. So I'm excited about our magazine. I'm wanting to do a yearly subscription to that. I actually don't know if I'll have that in time for the convention or not because I'm pre-recording this, but I'm hoping to. I'm hoping to have information at least available, or possibly pre-orders available in time for the convention for our magazine. And we're hoping to have kind of a welcome to gather round beginner magazine as well, that will just be a beautiful thing that explains all of this stuff in there as well in a written and visual way. So yeah, that's our kind of last bit of where you can find information. Lastly, now that we're here, we're at the Gather Round convention, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the sale, okay? And then I'm gonna let you guys go. But if you have questions about the sale and how it works, we're gonna cover that here very basically. So this is different than any other sale we've done. I've made it as simple as possible. Our last sale, I simplified with a coupon code, and it actually turned out to not be very simple because people forgot to use it. So this time I am making it an automatic discount, and it is on everything other than the Lifer, which is already discounted. So that's it. Automatic discount. You're going to go and add it to your cart. Discount is already applied. It is this week only, July 5th to the 9th. So if you are wanting to get stuff for this year, it is the best possible opportunity. You are going to get it the cheapest that you're going to get it. We don't do sales throughout the year. We don't do anything for Black Friday. We don't do anything for Cyber Monday. We do a once a year sale. So this is it, and I really think you're going to get the best deal that you can. So you can just add it to your cart, and it is going to be applied for the first time ever. It will also be applied on the years, year 1, year 2, as well as the membership and pre-orders of year 3. Remember, if you purchase year 3, it is a pre-order. We have not made it yet. We're coming into year 3. So every month we're going to create a new unit, and it's actually, in my mind, my very favorite thing. The membership or year 3 for me are like, they're worth the little bit extra because we ship it every month. The reason they're worth a little bit extra is you're getting the new. It's like Christmas. Every month it's like Christmas. You're not just getting a box that's exciting for a month. You're getting a box every month. It's motivating. It keeps you going. It's exciting. It's something to look forward to. I love, love, love. That's my favorite thing. I want new as soon as there's a launch, I'm down there. I'm flipping through the books. Like, I love new, just seeing it on paper and what it looks like. So the membership and the year 3 pre-order, you're gonna get that every month. Something new, whether it's in your inbox or uploaded to where you get your files. That's really the benefit and the difference. So you're not going to get them all at once. In fact, you're going to get nothing in the beginning because we haven't made it yet, okay? So we're working on it. Our first unit launches the end of August. So you're gonna get that one. I am hoping to launch it for our print people a little bit early so that we can send it out and hopefully have it to you in time for school. If you're starting that first week, I think Labor Day is around the 5th or 6th. So have it to you within that time frame so that you can have it in time. But keep in mind, if you are ordering right now in the midst of our sale, we have a huge warehouse, which hopefully you got a chance to see in our Meet the Spooners video where we did a tour of our property. And we have 3 different printing presses, and we have a whole warehouse full of staff. But the reality is that A, we cannot control shipping, and B, we get, because this is our one sale that we do, everybody tends to order around this time, and we just are full. We print to order. We are not like any other company that is ordering mass amounts and storing inventory and shipping it out to you when you order. Instead, we're printing to order. And while that can be frustrating because maybe we get backlogged at our printers, know this: at least when we find a mistake, when you submit something, when something comes up, when I decide to make a change, we actually make that, go and ask my designers right away. We flip it, we adjust it, we pull it back into the printer, and you are getting the most up-to-date recent file. So if you are waiting on your stuff, if you order during the sale, you will be. Last time it took us all summer to get through our orders. We do know that there's a time limit. Last summer, we actually, in order to get you guys your books, if you remember, some of you who were with us last year, we actually sent you the first 2 units that you requested when you ordered the year, and we back ordered the rest. So we emailed you and we said, tell us what units, otherwise we're just going to send you the first 2 of the year. And we sent you something and I paid that extra shipping. So my costs went up a lot, but I really was passionate, especially because anyways, it was crazy. But that's what we did last year, and I am willing to do that this year if we look like we're going to be in the same situation. So basically I'm going to look at the sale, I'm going to see how crazy it is, and if I already know, oh yeah, like we're definitely going to be doing this all summer, then there is going to be that opportunity where you will get an email and we'll say, okay, we're back ordering. So I recommend actually when you're putting in your order, if you are putting in for a year, that you put in what first 2 units you would like to start with in case of back order. These are the first few units I'd like to start with, because then we actually don't have to wait to contact you. We spend a lot of time waiting, following up with people. You'll get your order faster if you put that in, as well as if you're ordering the membership and it's a build your own. You're gonna have to wait and fill out the form and everything else, or we could actually start on yours, especially if you are ordering a different unit that isn't one that we're waiting to create. If you're not starting with living off the land, because it's not out yet, so then you can choose anything from year 1 or year 2, and you say we're gonna start with artists, then we can send you out artists, and you're gonna have your first unit ready to go and waiting for you. So if we are in that situation, we will find ways of working around it and making sure we get your orders out as best we can. And if we have to do multiple shipments to make that happen, that is what we will do. So that is the situation. That's why we have that situation. We are growing almost faster than we can keep up with. So have grace with us. We are aware, we are passionate about getting you guys your books in the fastest time we possibly can. If you do have a special circumstance or situation, please feel free to email us, and that is support@gatheroundhomeschool.com. So hopefully that really helps explain our sale. That really helps explain how this works, what the levels are, where to start with your kids. If you have any other questions, please go onto our website and join our live chat. Ask in our Facebook group or our app, where you're going to get a ton of responses just from other people in the community that have been here and are really so incredibly helpful. Or worst case scenario, definitely email us, support@gatheroundhomeschool.com, and we will answer you as soon as we possibly can. I hope this was helpful and beneficial and encouraging, and I am really excited to see if Gather Round is a good fit for your family and what you think about it in the months to come.